Have you ever had that moment when you finally hit the thing that you've been chasing for months or even years? The dream job, the number on the scale, the follower count, or the apartment that you want. And instead of feeling like pure happiness,
you just feel weirdly sad, or
you feel like empty. Almost like, okay, now what's next? I've got the thing that I really deeply wanted. And that feeling, that now what feeling that we all get, is more common than people talk about it. And if you've ever felt it, I need you to know that nothing is wrong with you. Firstly, you didn't aim for the wrong thing. You didn't lose your gratitude along the way. You didn't ruin it by not celebrating enough. Your brain is just trying to adjust to a new level of, I guess, normal for you, and it's not used to that level. In this video, I want to break down what's actually happening in your brain when that happens to you, what dopamine has to do with it, why happiness, as we've been taught, is a bit of a scam, and how to actually create real, sustainable, I would say, joy that doesn't vanish to us after you reach your big goal and dream. So get cozy, because this might change how you think about success and happiness and joy altogether forever. Okay, with chapter number 1, I want to start with the dopamine lie, the biggest of this generation. Let's start with dopamine, because that little chemical is actually ruining everyone's life nowadays. People love calling it the happiness hormone, which it kind of is and not, but that's not true. Dopamine doesn't make you happy, it makes you chase happiness. That's all. Dopamine is released in your brain not when you get something, but when you anticipate getting it already. It's what makes you excited to start a new project, plan a trip, or text someone you like. It's literally the thrill of that's coming or it's coming. That's why the pursuit of your goals feels intoxicating almost. The planning, the obsession, the vision boarding. But the moment you actually get it, your brain's like, okay, now what next? Like, I already got it. Because evolution wired you to survive, not sit around basking in satisfaction. In the wild, if you kill the animal you didn't celebrate for 2 months, you went to find another one before the food ran out. So that's how we've been wired. Fast forward to now, and your brain still plays that very game. Even though your goals are different, you probably hit 100,000 subscribers, a million, and then next morning you're already thinking about the next million. You lose 5 kgs, and by the end of the week you're googling how to tone up faster. Like, it's like a cycle that never ends. And that constant cycle of what's next isn't greed, it's chemistry, right, for your brain. The problem is that in our modern world, we're constantly triggering dopamine without any effort. Every scroll, every ping we get, every message, every snack that we get, like this, every like that we get on social media, that's also mini dopamine hit. But the thing is that the faster and the easier the hit is getting with nowadays the generation with AI, you can make an image that takes forever on AI like this now, the weaker your baseline becomes. Your brain starts expecting pleasure without doing anything real, which means the real goals, the ones that actually take effort and the ones that used to give people dopamine back then, do nothing now and start feeling boring and almost really long to attain. That's why it's so hard to focus on your work, your studies, why you procrastinate even on things that you truly love, and why after you achieve something meaningful, your mind immediately will feel flat because it's looking for the next thing. And that's not depression, it's actually dopamine burnout that you may be experiencing. So before we talk about happiness, we have to talk about retraining that system, retraining your dopamine system, because if you don't fix that, even your dream life, which is like the most of it, you'll manifest it, but will eventually feel dull for you, and you'll keep chasing happiness and you'll never find it. Most people, when I've spoken to them, I feel like they think that happiness is a constant state. Like, once you figure your life out, I'm gonna be happy all the time. Once I get my dream partner, I'm gonna be happy all the time. But happiness isn't a destination, it's a signal. It's your body's way of saying that, hey, this moment matters to us, and we're feeling like the rush and the adrenaline. It comes and it goes. It's like waves, like sadness. You're not supposed to hold it forever. You're not supposed to ride it constantly. Yes, you can always aim to be positive and happy all the time, but it's not going to be possible for it to happen 24 hours every single day. The reason so many of us feel lost even when life is technically good for us is because we attach happiness to the arrival. We think that when I get the apartment, I finally feel at peace. When I hit that body goal, I finally love myself. When I make that amount of money, life is gonna be good. I'll finally feel safe. But every time that you reach the next level, the brain adapts. And that's called hedonic adaptation. It means that your baseline then adjusts to the new normal. Think about it. When you started, whatever journey you started, you were at a baseline and now you're here. And you once prayed for where you are now. But are you constantly happy? Is your life sorted with where you are now? No, you're trying to go above. So your baseline has now changed. What would have given you happiness 10 years ago, is just normal now, and you want something better. That's what this baseline is. And that's why happiness never stays in the achievement, it stays in the process. That's pretty much my point number one. That the small, consistent sense of direction, the mornings you actually feel proud of how you showed up, that's happiness. The small things you romanticize, that's happiness, and that's the best form of it. The little self-respect moments that you have. And the truth is that I feel like we've made happiness too dramatic. It's not a fireworks show, it's a rhythm that you have with life. You can have peace while you're building happiness. You can have joy while you're healing as well. And you can, see how far you've come and be grateful for that. You can have satisfaction while you're still on the way. But only if you stop making happiness this reward that you'll finally get and start making it the way that you work towards everything in your life. So if you're someone who just chases happiness because they believe that that's how it's supposed to, that's how you're supposed to attain it through milestones, and this video is your reminder, and I'm here to remind you that happiness isn't waiting at the top of the mountain. It's never going to be there. It's in how you climb. It's in how you get to the mountain. Okay, next I want to talk about that now what phase once we finally reach our goal, because it's very important. We need to talk about that weird emptiness that shows up after we reach a big goal, because no one prepares you for that. Because no one prepares you to think that you'll ever reach there, let alone how to feel after that. You think that you're going to cry tears of joy when you finally get there, and you might for a day or a week, but then the silence will hit after that, because you don't know what next, because you only ever plan to reach here, and now that you're here, what next? You wake up the next morning and then the excitement's gone. There's no next level button that you already have in your brain, and your brain has been high on anticipation, drugged on anticipation for reaching this goal, whether it's a workout goal, a fitness goal, they're the same thing, or a success oriented goal, or a relationship oriented goal, anything. But then your brain suddenly crashes, and that's why that feeling of I should be happy, but I'm not that happy as I imagine feels super uncomfortable for you. You feel guilty for not even feeling that way, because all you dreamt your whole life was this moment. But the truth is, newsflash, that crash isn't sadness. It's actually a withdrawal. Your brain is just recalibrating now that the chase has finally stopped. It's almost like dopamine withdrawal, right? It's like drugs. But the trick isn't to panic at that point, it's to pivot. You don't need to find a bigger goal right away. You need to just try and move your brain to a gratitude state and enjoying what you already achieved. And like those reels that say you're in the middle of what you once prayed for, which is true. You are now in the middle. So take a pause and understand that you're in the middle of something you once truly prayed for. And then I want you to start by asking yourself, what do I enjoy doing when no one is watching? When I don't care? What habits make me feel proud, not just productive? And what tiny actions make my life feel like mine again, make me feel like a child again? Because happiness after achievement comes from anchoring yourself in the meaning and not momentum, because momentum is something you're going to have throughout your life with something or the other. You can build a peaceful kind of drive where you're still growing but not running all the time. What I'm trying to make with this video is that not to chase another mountain. You're gonna always do that. It's to learn how to breathe when you reach the top. It's to learn how to enjoy the process to reaching there. Okay, now that I've given you a little backstory and a little understanding on what happiness could look like and what dopamine is, let's get practical, because this isn't just mindset, it's also neuroscience. It's also related to your brain. Your brain literally learns how to feel happy based on what you feed it and what you focus and train it with and what you repeat as well. So here are a few realistic changes that can completely, I feel like, reset your baseline with happiness and help your dopamine work for you again in your best interest and not just against you all the time. These are things that I've tried, they work, so I'm here to give them to you. Okay, my tip number one is to give your brain friction again. The reason I feel like you feel so unmotivated lately isn't because you're lazy, is that your brain is overstimulated and under-challenged for that. Every time you scroll, you binge, or you grab a quick hit of comfort, you're giving your brain pleasure with zero effort, almost zero. With this generation where we can get food at like the click of our hands, you're giving your brain dopamine with no effort. It feels good in the moment, 100%, but in the long term it destroys your ability to feel rewarded for real effort, which is truly how you should obtain your dopamine from. So the way to fix that isn't punishment, it's friction. I want you to do one thing every single day that makes your brain slightly uncomfortable, like truly uncomfortable. Something that takes a little focus or a little patience, or something that's hard for you, something you don't want to do. Maybe that's a workout when you don't feel like doing it, you're cooking your own meal instead of ordering it, or you're tackling that messy corner of your room that you've been ignoring for absolute weeks. You need to do that today. After this video, in fact, shut the video and go do it. And it works because dopamine isn't released when you get the reward, it's released while you're working for it. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. It's not released when you get the reward. So when you give yourself friction, your brain starts associating effort with satisfaction. You're literally rewiring yourself to believe that I earn pleasure through progress and not escape all the time. That's the secret of real motivation in life. Effortful dopamine and not instant dopamine. Stop with the instant dopamine. And then my tip number 2 is to anchor your mornings with more stillness. Your mornings are your emotional foundation for the entire day. If you wake up and instantly flood your nervous system with notifications, messages, bad news, demotivating things basically, and you start your day in reaction mode and flight or fight mode, that's how your brain stays all day, chasing, comparing, and then scrolling, and then doom scrolling, and then feeling sad about it that you didn't do anything, and then sleeping, and then restarting the cycle of negative, low vibration things. So instead, I want you to claim the first 30 to 60 minutes of your morning for yourself. Before you open your phone, you need to do one small thing that brings your nervous system back to safety and back to calmness. You light a candle, you drink a full glass of water, you do gentle stretchings, I don't care, or you just sit in silence for a few minutes with yourself. When you start your day being grounded and slow, your brain learns that calm isn't dangerous. Calm is what's in fact safe, which so many of us have forgotten in this generation. And so when your body feels safe, your mind can finally do the focusing bit. That's when you stop operating from survival and you start operating from clarity in life. You'll notice that your creativity increases and your anxiety will lower, and you no longer need that immediate dopamine rush to feel awake in life. You have it within you because you've already given your brain peace first in life. And then the next step is to replace big goals with daily evidence. We unfortunately have been taught to measure success by outcomes. The number on the scale, the success, the money, the outcome. But your brain doesn't actually get satisfaction from the outcome. It just wants another outcome. So that's another story. But it gets satisfaction from progress tracking. Where did I start? Where am I today? So instead of only celebrating the end result, I want you to start measuring how often you show up for yourself. How often you do something you don't want to. Ask, did I keep the promise I made to myself today? If even a little bit of yes is in that, then you're good. Did I act like the kind of person I want to become? Hopefully, yes. So every time you keep that small promise, you're waking up when you said you would, you're doing your workout, you're working towards your goal, your brain releases a healthy dopamine hit. It's more healthy because it's not instant, it's something you earn. You start feeling fulfilled before the result even arrives because your brain is learning to associate happiness with the act and not the applause. So this is how you build self-trust in yourself, and self-trust is the quietest, strongest form of happiness there ever is. My next point is to keep a contentment practice. This one probably is the most underrated one. Every evening, ask yourself this one simple question, whether you journal, write in your journal. Always have this question towards the end of the day. What did I enjoy today that I didn't need to earn? Maybe it's your morning coffee, maybe it's sunlight through your window, laughing with someone, or that one song just that hit right, or maybe a drive with yourself. They're proof that you can feel good without achievement, without striving, and without performing. There's something that's towards your journey, right? When you train your brain to notice these moments, you create a deeper kind of happiness that's not built on spikes, but more on peace, more on constant progress. Because the truth is that life will always have goals, you'll always have phases, next levels, steps, all of that. But if you learn to enjoy what's already here while you're building what's next, that'll come. Yes, you've already won in life. You already enjoy it in the present. So if you've been wondering why you can't hold on to happiness, it's not that you're ungrateful. It's actually that you're doing life wrong, honestly, or that you've been trained to do it this way because of society. And your brain probably chases spikes instead of building a stable rhythm for yourself. Real joy genuinely comes from living in alignment and not in achievement all the time. It's when your actions, your pace, your values finally match together. And when that happens, even on your quieter days where you achieve zero, you start to feel full because you know, okay, you're slowly working towards it. So stop chasing the next big thing. Slow down enough to enjoy what you once prayed for that is already around you. And I'm telling you, you'll find something like that. You'll at least find one thing like that, because when you start finding joy in becoming and not in the arrival only, that's when happiness stops running away from you, and that's when you truly feel joy every day. So if this resonated with you, let me know down below. If this is something that you've been struggling with, because I know a lot of people who have, let me know down below and comment that I'm building my baseline. Let's do this together and save this video for the next time that you hit a goal and wonder, why don't I feel happy? You need to come back to this and ground yourself again, because now you'll know. And you're not supposed to honestly keep chasing happiness. You're supposed to learn how to keep it and be with it every day and just feel joyous for being alive. Now I'll see you in the next one. Until then, be happy in the process, in the journey, because there are a few goals that you're gonna hit in your life, but there's a long journey to it and a fun one. So just be happy with it. I'll see you in the next one.